unacceptable, and it is on their watch that we are seeing hundreds of thousands of people die on a daily basis now. Right now, over 3 million people have died from COVID-19. Over 560,000 people in this country alone. And that is unacceptable.
However, here in our nation's capital, we can boast and be very proud and thankful that for 3 days in a row, there have been zero deaths from COVID-19 in Washington, D.C. That is why we
In
need to
regards to
tell
what the
children,
lady's
act
saying,
now, say
the news
act
says
now,
only the World Health
act now,
Organization
act now,
can do that. 128
act now,
members, they're the only people who, and they all have to vote together to remove the patent. Okay. In regards to what the lady is saying, the news says only the World Health Organization can do that. 128 members, they're the only people who, and they all have to vote together to remove the patent. Okay. In regards to what the lady is saying, the news says only the World Health Organization can do that. 128 members, they're the only people who, and they all have to vote together to remove the patent. Okay, so basically, the World Health Organization is an arm of the United Nations. And, anybody familiar with the United Nations know that they don't do things quickly, and there's a lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, look at the war that's going on in Syria. Over 10 years, right? And if you read outside the United Nations, the whole idea is that it was created to stop these kind of things. Yeah. Unfortunately, you see children dying, children, of course, the school being, no real potential there, lost years, schooling, people going hungry. In Syria, I'm talking about. And this has been going on over 10 years in the United Nations. It's so political because you have certain countries that would be friendly with Assad, the president of Syria. So they're not gonna come and vote to go against him. And you have like a few countries that sit in the the Security Council, where these kind of decisions have to be made. And off the top of my head, I know the United States is a member of the Security Council. Russia is, China is, and there's some others, and I think one rotates through. So chances are you're gonna have like Russia, for example, they back Assad. They back the Syrian president. So no matter what, nothing's going to happen. So that's why you have a war that's been going on for over 10 years. And nothing's happening. And China plays a certain role, but China is out to sell everybody something that they make. So if you have the money and you want to buy goods, China really doesn't give a damn, if you want to kill your own people. Because they've been accused of doing it too, to the Uyghurs. But the reason I'm bringing them up is because being that part of the United Nations, the WHO, World Health Organization, according to the news from what I heard, is that you have to have like maybe around 128 members or people in that body who have to vote in the affirmative to say, yeah, we want to remove the restriction on the patents, right? So they can go ahead and allow these countries to make their own vaccine. So good luck with that. You know, polio, I'm sure people remember polio. Polio used to be a very bad disease. The one famous person like polio was FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, President of the United States, back during World War II. He had polio, but those days were different. You didn't have the TV as we have it now, where you could see the president, but he used to use crutches to walk, and he used to be sitting in a wheelchair too. And he got polio not when he was a child, but when he was older. I have a cousin, an older cousin who had polio, you know. But in those days, there was no vaccine. And Linus Pauling, the guy who invented the vaccine, he didn't put a patent on it. He could have, but he didn't. He didn't care about money. He figured that polio was a devastating disease because it affects mobility. Can you imagine when you know how it feels to be able to like run? Let's say you want to run to catch a bus, you want to run to catch a taxi, you want to run to catch a plane, you want to run outside, or you want to go jogging. If you have polio, you can't do that. You know, polio cuts down on your mobility to walk. So here was this guy who invented something that was really important, and he could have put a patent on it. He didn't. The difference here, though, is that if you look at like drugs, like diabetes drugs, high blood pressure drugs, drugs that control cholesterol, yeah, you can understand a patent on those because some of those may have to do with maybe human behavior or so forth. So, you know, there's a pattern on it, and then investors, people invest money in these pharmaceutical companies, and they want to make money. That's the way it goes. But this is a pandemic. We see what's going on in India. People in the prime of their lives, I see on the TV. I look at the BBC here, BBC America, and it's really very terrible. People like in their 50s, 40s, 30s, even 20s, in dying in India. These people should still be alive. I'm not going to get into the politics of the prime minister there and the foolishness that went on that allowed this to happen. But simple things like oxygen, they don't have enough oxygen, so forth. But definitely, they need to have like a mass vaccination in India, because when you look at some of the people and some of the pictures the family show, these people are in the prime of their lives. And there is no way that these people should have been dead. You know? I mean, an early grave for these people, which is really a shame. You see people dying in taxis, people outside. There was a son, I think like maybe one or two, and the mother is like in her mid-50s, and they were in the ICU or what have you. It's not even like the ICU like here, you know. It just looks like a regular room, and they were screaming and shouting and so forth. She finally got on a ventilator, and no oxygen, and they were shouting and screaming, yeah, to get oxygen to put in. And then in another case, was I think the guy's mother, and she was flatlining. You know, those lines that go up. So you see the sinus rhythm when the line goes up, it shows the heart is beating, and all of a sudden the line goes flat, and he's shouting and crying. The doctor comes in. The doctor walks in like he's taking a walk in a park on a Sunday morning. So cool, without anything, so forth. One doctor, a female doctor, even told them that they're crowding around her and to move back. You know, it's like you're crowding me. Move back, yeah. It's like, oh my God, this is the way people behave. It's so forth, like no real caring, no real passion, no anything like that. Then, like matter of factly, doctor comes in. he puts his fingers, check for pulse, no pulse, dead. Now that's it. That's what's going on in India right now, which is really horrible. And I mean, even here in the United States, when we had people dying at the height of COVID, yeah, we had a lot of stuff, but a lot of these people they were able to get them to the hospital. Unfortunately, in India, I've seen people say they went to 8 different hospitals and they couldn't even get their relative in there in the hospital. You know, I mean, India has like 1.4 billion, so point four would be like 400 million people, right? So that's like 1,400 million. Whereas here in the United States, with the recent census, I think we have like about maybe 330 million people. So, so we have like 330 million people, and out of that count, we have a lot of people who who are not even maybe citizens, or maybe here not even legally that are counted. So India has 1.4 million, so their point 4 is even more than our 330 something million. So that's just a staggering number for them. So you can just imagine. So the healthcare system, the hospital system in India is collapsing. It's not set up for that. Every day it's really horrible to see what's going on there. And here in America, we were warning people, if you keep up your behavior the way and people don't wear their mask, this is exactly what's going to happen. Our system would collapse. People will be trying to get people in the hospital, and they'll be turn them away, as what's going on in India right now. People being turned away. Imagine you go in a hospital and you being turned away because they're saying, well, there's not enough room. There are no empty beds. You have to go somewhere else. In the process, that person is going to die. People are dying in taxis. People dying all over. All over. It's really horrible. And the people are very critical of the government there. But that's the way it is. But anyway, accordingly, the World Health Organization you have to have like 128 people vote, and they have to all vote to remove the patent. You see, and that's going to be very, very hard because Germany they make medication to vaccines also, and they already say no. you know, they put money. I mean, come on. In a pandemic, you would think something that's killing people easily because a lot of people are being taken away from the earth too soon before their time. These people shouldn't be dying. These people should be walking the earth, but they're dying for crazy things. Even here in the United States, over 500,000 people. What is it? About maybe 570,000 people dead now here in the United States. That should have never happened. And it happened because of the clown that we had in office in the time. And it's really amazing how many Americans, people worship this idiot. And he's still out of office, and all the death and destruction that happened under his watch, and people still worship him like the second coming of Jesus Christ. I mean, he's saying, well, I saw a clip the other day, I think yesterday, where he's saying, nobody saw this coming. That's not true. People did see it coming. And they told him too. They told him before it arrived here because you see it's like a dark rain cloud on the horizon. You know those clouds that move? It's coming, and you could see, wow, in the distance, you see a dark cloud. And you see it's raining way over there, but it's not raining over here. and it's heading this way, and you know it's going to be coming your way. That's what it was about. Something like that, if that analogy may fit. They saw it coming. He was warned it's coming, and it can cause like maybe trillions of dollars that could wreck the economy. And what did he do? He said, "Well, I'm not going to tell people. I don't want to scare the American people." So he didn't tell. He didn't tell anybody. It's like a he reminds me of those kids, those little children who play with fire, right? And with the stove, and then boom, the whole stove lights up, and they run scared, and they run out, and they don't tell anybody, and the kitchen is burning, fire is going up to the ceiling, and they just go back in their room quietly while everything, we had something like that happen here in New York about 6 o'clock one morning. Boom. Everybody died. You know why? Because the little kid who lit the fire, for some reason children are attracted to fire, he said nothing. He lit the fire and went back, said nothing because he's scared. And because of that, it was an early Sunday morning, and everybody died. A number of people died in that apartment, and that's exactly what happened here. That the man who happened to be in charge, unfortunately, he only cared about himself and how he looks, and worse, this happened in an election. It happened in an election year, so he wanted to make sure whatever he's doing, nothing looks bad on his watch. And then in the end, he called it election fraud. That's not fraud. People saw their relatives die, relatives in the prime of their life died, and they blame him. They look at him. He didn't do the job he was hired to do. So it's really amazing that people still went along and voted for this idiot. That really says a lot about a certain percentage of the American population, or populace, or voting populace, that they could still turn around and vote for somebody who clearly is out of his league and has no business being president. A reality TV star. Yeah, and people are attracted to that. A lot of people watch reality TV, and they confuse reality. By the way, reality means the producers and other people telling you, oh, this is the way I want you to talk. This is the way I want you to come across. I want you to act aggressive. I want you to act mean. That kind of stuff. You see? And that's what happened. And some people buy into that. And this is where they know this man. Whereas the truth is, for a man who lived on Fifth Avenue in New York, where they usually hold the Easter parade, where people dress up, wearing all kinds of strange-looking hats, fancy hats, all kinds of dignified outfits on the Sunday, Easter Sunday. We haven't had it for 2 years due to COVID. Even dogs. Some people bring their dogs dressed up in hats, wearing sunglasses. So this man lived over Fifth Avenue for all these years, living in those place, a place that most Americans never really set foot on, because most people never been here to New York, never set foot down Fifth Avenue, never been to the Easter parade, or so forth. I happen to be here because I live here, but that's another story. But the point I'm trying to make is that here's a guy who lived in a world like that for many years, and people really believe that he really cares about them. I mean, come on. Guy lives in a totally different world where people dress up with fancy hats, their dogs dress up in sunglasses and so forth. That's the world that this guy lived in. And he's supposed to care about you, who maybe you hear a train pass maybe once every day where you live. And there's nothing out there but grass and hogs and cattle and the sound of a train going by. Clang, 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 a freight train out in nowhere. And he cares about you.